All right, welcome back everybody to Sound Off. I am Mr. Sound Off. Sorry guys, it's been a little while dealing death in the family. Unfortunately, took me away from this great platform here. Thank you guys, everyone that has been following so far. Love your comments. Thank you for liking and subscribing to the channel. If you haven't gotten a chance to already, please do like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, I am Mr. Sound Off. Basically on this platform, it's pretty much nothing but sports, music, entertainment. I would say even mostly sports. Obviously, we've been doing a bunch of stuff for football. Huge into that. It's pretty fun, pretty easy to do the weekly power rankings, picks for the weekend games, those kind of things there as well. So come back before this weekend's games for me to get you some picks out for that. Tonight I'm just going to get you guys going before Thursday night game, going with the power rankings heading into week 11 in the NFL. So without any further ado, again, hit that like and subscribe button. And now we'll get into the power ranking just like we always do, starting from the bottom. And now we're here starting with number 32. Your annual, not annual, your weekly champion of that 32 spot is those Tennessee Titans. So they're still down there. The Raiders, who are nipping and tugging at those Titans heels there to try to get to that 32nd spot. The Raiders there at 31. The Saints at 30. Browns at 29. Jets at 28. Giants at the 27th spot. You got the Dolphins, who surprisingly, came and actually had a fantastic game. Maybe not a fantastic game, a good game, a fantastic win, beating the Bills last week, right? So what's crazy is you guys will see throughout this list and throughout my my other rankings that I've had throughout the season is what a crazy season. I feel like this year, every week or every other week or something like that, there's like 2, 3, 4 teams at the bottom, like 6 that like all win in a weekend. Same thing with like the top of the league. I'll talk about later on as I go along with this video here as well. You know, is there really teams that have separated themselves as far as being the best teams? I think there are teams that have separated themselves as far as being some of the worst. But then again, I've had some of these teams, like the Saints, Panthers earlier on, those kind of things there that have been ranked very low and have had some surprising games, some big wins. The Giants, the Jets, pretty much all of them, the Dolphins. So congrats to the Dolphins because they did have a big win. They're up to 26. I'll go through as far as my my wins, my changes, my ups and downs. Again, last one I did was a couple weeks ago for week 9. Was it week 9 power rankings as well? So it's been a couple weeks since back then, but I do have my power rankings differences on there. Titans, you're at the same spot. Raiders, no change there. Saints, you're up 1 from 2 weeks ago. Browns, you're down 2. Dylan Gabriel is just not looking like the thing there. And the Jets, you're up and down. I mean, you win a game, but then you get rid of a bunch of your best players in the team. So I can't move you up and down a whole lot there. You are up 1 from a couple weeks ago. Giants, unfortunately, Scadbo is down. I actually think that Dart with Dable was a good thing going for the Giants. But all of a sudden, you get rid of Dable, and possibly Jameis Winston is actually going to be a nice little uplift for them versus my Packers this weekend. But I think going forward, it's not a good thing for them if they got rid of him. So, anyways, the Giants are down 2 from a couple weekends ago. Dolphins, they went up 2. The Commanders, they have kind of free fallen here throughout the season. Just injuries, basically Jane Daniels, but injuries to a lot of their players. Their players not playing as well as they did last year. I kind of been calling this all year long as far as the Commanders go. I mean, that's what happens a lot of times when you have those rookie quarterbacks have a great year. It could be in any sport, especially maybe not so much basketball. Maybe it's the one doesn't happen as much too, but baseball, a lot of times rookies will have a great year. Second year, teams figure them out. You have to be that special of a player to adjust and still be good enough to overcome what the league is trying to do to you. Jane Daniels obviously dealing with injuries on top of that. But again, also the Commanders, the oldest team in the NFL. So it doesn't, it's unfortunate, but it's not super surprising that they have had a lot of injuries and they're not playing as well as they did last year. So they are down at the 25th spot. and that's dropped down 5 spots from where they were at a couple weekends ago. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Flacco, I've been saying since he got traded over there, and he was playing against the Packers and the Steelers and teams knew. I think they knew what I was thinking as well. I think Flacco along with those receivers is awesome. I don't think it's necessarily a system thing. I think Joe Burrow is definitely better than Flacco, but a good team. Unfortunately, their defense is horrible, so it doesn't really, again, so much matter if Joe Burrow comes back. But they're going to put up some points, I think, with either Flacco or Burrow being in there. I don't think Burrow is going to come back for this weekend's game, by the way, but I think they're still going to not be a playoff team this year here. But they did go up 2 spots to the 24th spot. Atlanta Falcons. I don't know if there's a more disappointing team to me, looking through my list here, than those Atlanta Falcons for me. I mean, I've talked about them kind of all year long. They have this first round pick at quarterback. They have the most first round pick offensive linemen in the NFL. They have a first round pick stud running back. First round pick wide receiver, first round pick tight end. I mean, they are just loaded, and their defense is really good. They're not like the top of the league defense, but they're a good defense, and it's not like they're the Cowboys or they're the Bengals or something like that. They're a mid to upper tier defense in the NFL, and Penix is just really been. I mean, that's it, right? It's either been Penix being bad, him being injured. Cousins coming in, he can't be good. Maybe play calling, you not relying upon your offensive line and your stud running back as much as you should. I do think I always thought Drake London was maybe a little high end, a little overrated. I think he's a good receiver. I remember the Packers looking at drafting him, and I always thought, this was back when Aaron Rodgers was still on the team, they weren't going to draft him. That's not the kind of receiver that Aaron Rodgers throws to. He wants the guys that get separation, not the guys that go win jump balls. And essentially, to me, that's what Drake London is. Doesn't have the speed. The route running is not fantastic. He's not breaking away from people a whole lot. It's not like he's a dominant figure, like way taller or something like that, way bigger than everybody else. He's medium size on both those things there as well. I think Pitts is possibly, a more athletic receiver, and Pitts is their tight end that they never use as well. So anyways, maybe it's just the quarterback, maybe it is the coaching, maybe it is the play calling, all those things there combined. But for the Falcons to be 23rd on my rankings here, they dropped down 4 spots from where they're at. I do think they get a win this weekend playing at home, but again, is Penix going to go 13 for 26 or something like that, throw 50%, and they keep going back to the well for him to throw, and they can't do it and lose another game? They've had some bad losses this year. I can't figure them out. Then we go to the next spot up from them. I think Jacoby Brissett has been a nice little, I wouldn't say really surprised. I was saying how much I liked him coming in that game against the Packers. I thought he's done good throughout his career, especially in spurts, maybe not for an entire season, but going all the way back to him being on the Patriots way back when, he was one of those guys coming in as like their 3rd, 4th string quarterback, winning games when Tom Brady was down. So their numbers show that that the team is doing better with him than they were with Kyler Murray. Their defense is a pretty good defense. So I got them going up 2 spots. And look for my pick for this weekend. They're playing against the 49ers in Arizona. That might be a surprise pick for me. So come back and watch that video here before the weekend as well. And then after the Cardinals, we have the Panthers at the 21 spot. All right, Panthers have been a surprising team. I mean, whether or not they're catching people at the right time, surprising people, how good they play at home, that trap game. I mean, Bryce Young has not been stellar at all this whole year. Their defense has not been great. Their rushing game has been pretty good. They do have that to lean on. But they are where they're at. So they moved up 1 spot. They're the 21 spot there. And hopefully you guys are able to see the rankings there. Let me know as again going through the video. Leave your comments. Let me know about how the rankings are going. Thanks again, guys, everyone, for the comments, the feedback so far as you guys have been watching these videos weekly, and let me know, give me your opinions on where those teams are at. But trying to update it more with some more visuals and stuff like that on there too. So enjoy that. before we go into our next list of teams, here we're going up to the 11th spot. So we're going starting with the 20th spot at the Dallas Cowboys, right? Dallas Cowboys, I mean, it's what it's been all year long, right? No defense, but scoring offense has been fantastic. They can score with anybody, so I think they're a dangerous team any week, right? Dallas Cowboys, they are down 2 spots. They're at the 20 spot. Jacksonville Jaguars, kind of like the Falcons. I don't think they're as skilled as the Falcons are, but just a bunch of talent on the team. You know, should they be a very good team? Should they be a mediocre team? I don't think they're ever going to be like a horrible team this year. I don't ever picture them as being like one of the top teams either. You know, I think in the teens is going to be where they're going to be at. I don't see them ever getting up into the top 10, but they might end up being a playoff team. Jaguars have gone up 1 spot there to 19. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who look like, JJ's come back and look like they're handing over the reins back to him for him to be the guy there in Minnesota. I think that defense is good enough. I think they have great wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. You know, their offensive line is good. Again, that defense is stellar. If JJ McCarthy can be a decent enough quarterback, they have a chance to go on a run there, to be a playoff team as well. I think it's going to be tough in that division. The Bears are looking good. Obviously, the Packers and Lions are looking good as well. So that might be a little bit too tough for them to make up that ground this year. But I think they're going to be a good team throughout the rest of the season. They're up 5 spots as well to the 18th spot. And then at 17, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. That they're trying to hold on, cling to that lead they have in that division as best they can. I think what's huge for them is I think their defense is playing a little bit better now. That's going to be gigantic for them. They spend the most out of any team in the NFL on their defense. They need that defense to at least be, a top 10 defense in the league. I don't think that's too much to ask for any team that spends the most money on their defense to be one of the top 3rd in the league in defense, if not top 5. If they're top 5 in the NFL in defense, this team is going to be a for sure playoff team. If they're top 10, then they're on the fringe of playoff. If they're below 15th, 20th, that kind of thing there, they might miss out on the playoffs this year. I do think Aaron Rodgers is playing, having a pretty good season, although last game was not it. Some of that was not his fault. I mean, he's hitting guys right in the hands while they're wide open, no one on them, and ball just bouncing off their hands as a pick. Those unfortunately go against the quarterback's numbers. I don't think his numbers are actually indicative quite to how good he's playing this season. But I also have been saying all year long too, I don't really think they have a great wide receiver, tight end, great running back, tight end, and a number 2 wide receiver. DK Metcalf is a great wide receiver. I don't really think they have a great number 2, 3 guy. I mean, maybe they have a few number 3 or 4 guys, but the drop off I feel like between DK Metcalf and the second guy is drastic on. That's why I wish they would have kept Pickens this whole year long. They'd be a drastically better team if they had Pickens there and DK Metcalf along with Aaron Rodgers. And, the offensive line is not that good either, so they're really having to overcome quite a bit for them to be a very good team. And then moving on from the Steelers at 17, they're down 2 spots, by the way, from a couple weeks ago. The Texans, they are down 2 spots as well. I'll have to look at that. Down 2 spots, maybe up 2 spots. I'll have to go back and maybe check on my notes there. They are at 16th with the Texans. Stroud has obviously had concussions. He's had some injuries, those kind of things there, so that's affecting them. He wasn't tearing it up really kind of before that anyways. He was starting to play a little bit better in some of those weeks before he got injured. The biggest thing with the Texans has been all year long, their defense is stellar. The defense is fantastic. And if Stroud or Davis Mills, for that matter, can be, kind of average, almost kind of like the Vikings, I think their defense is even better than the Vikings. That's why they're ahead of them here moving forward. And I do think that C.J. Stroud coming back when he's at 100% is better than J.J. McCarthy as well. 15th, here's probably my biggest surprise, possibly to everybody on this list here. I'll give you a second to guess before as I do the setup as to what my biggest surprise I believe that everyone would have an opinion about or be just they would be surprised about one way or the other, up too high, down too low, that kind of thing there. I have all the teams in the NFL. Give you a second. Okay, enough dead time. That team being the Denver Broncos, everybody. So Denver Broncos at my 15th spot, right? They are down 8 spots. I just, every week, can't be another you got lucky week, bogus officiating, break on a call. Your quarterback is getting outdueled by another rookie quarterback all game long and then has one good quarter, beating what the second to worst team in the league in the Raiders by 3 points and scoring 10. It's not a good look for the Broncos. What's crazy is they're still good enough with their offensive line, with some of their weapons on offense, and then how good their defense is that they're still ranked this high. But I'm definitely going to need to see Bo Nix be better for them to really start climbing back up again in this ranking, because I think when you get to the playoffs and all of a sudden you go against the Chiefs or the Bills or the Colts, who else is there in that AFC? Chargers, Patriots, right? Their defenses are going to be very good as well. Maybe not so much the Bills defense, but most of them are going to be very good. Or you're going to have to outduel another quarterback that's going to be very good. You're not going to be going against Jackson Dart or some of these other guys, Geno Smith, who has all these turnovers. So you got to turn it around here soon. Another team also in the AFC that you could be going up against, the Baltimore Ravens, right? The Baltimore Ravens, they're coming. I mean, Lamar Jackson is back. They're kind of like the Steelers. I think that the Ravens have more weapons on offense. For sure, they have a better running back. Maybe not a number one wide receiver quite like DK Metcalf, but I think their wide receiver group is a whole lot better than the Steelers. Better tight ends, better offensive line. But if their defense also can become like a top 10 defense, then look out for this team. Otherwise, if they're a bottom 20, bottom 25, defense in the NFL like they were to begin the season, then all of a sudden they're not going to be able to do much in the playoffs either, right? But if they keep playing this way, they'll at least be getting into the playoffs, and then they're in danger with Lamar Jackson there, right? Speaking of danger, a team that I hate to admit it, but I have been also admitting it, been saying it for quite some time. The Chicago Bears, they're at 13. They're up 4 spots. And Caleb Williams has been playing very well the last couple weeks. I also, with what I keep saying about the Bears, is that team, I think in general, is a very good, very solid built team. I'm a little surprised about their defense not being better than what they've been for a little while now. I do think they have playmakers on defense, different levels. Maybe their defensive backs, maybe a little bit banged up, maybe not quite the depth they have defensive backs as they had previous years. Maybe their defensive line is not as good as I thought it was going to be, that kind of thing there. So it's a little surprising how much points they're giving up. That'll be maybe their limitation, because I think Caleb Williams can put up some points. If he's limiting how many times he gets sacked, that's going to be all the difference in the world there. I think they have the wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, all those things for them to be a good, solid offensive team as well there. So look out for the Bears. Like I said, they're at 4 spots, the number 13 spot. At number 12, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They are down 2 spots, a team that, again, just kind of like last year, maybe not, I don't know if they're more banged up or less banged up than last year, but they're banged up. They kind of remind me of the Commanders. With an older team, you get banged up more. It's just kind of, again, part of what happens. It's so unfortunate. I hate to see injuries, but you get those players that have been around for a while. They have a name for themselves. They're great players. Everyone knows them. That's why they're thought of so high. If they can play like they can for an entire season, they're phenomenal, right? They're still going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. If those guys don't play like they did last year, or in the 49ers case, maybe 2 years ago, or if they're getting banged up, then they start falling down. I don't know Mac Jones has been playing fantastic for Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy was a super underrated quarterback, so I think when he comes back, I think that gives him a little bonus. But honestly, I don't know how much of a bonus, because Mac Jones has been playing very well. Pretty much, I'm trying to think of each one of these games, that I think almost every one of these games he's been playing in, he's been doing fantastic for the 49ers. So I don't know how much of a real boost they're getting from Brock Purdy coming back to the 49ers when he eventually does. Some are estimating that he could come back as early as this weekend. It's probably looking more likely like it'll be next weekend's games, but it could be possible it's this weekend. But 49ers there again, down 2 spots at the 12th spot there. And at the 11th spot, rounding out this middle group here, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A tale of 2 seasons, I guess, for them. They were looking so hot early on in the season. They were winning against teams, including going up to Seattle, beating teams. Baker Mayfield's looking like an MVP player. They already had Godwin out, but then Mike Evans goes out as well. Maybe all their backup, second, third, fourth string wide receivers aren't able to carry the load quite like they were early on. I still think they're a super talented team, though. And, I don't think Baker Mayfield has fallen off to being like, the worst quarterback in the NFL at all by any means. So I still think they are a top team. If they get some of those other guys coming back as well, look for them to make a late season run there too. So that's the middle section of the rankings here. And now, guys, without further ado, hope you guys like that group. We go to our top 10. Yeah, drum roll, please. Top 10. We have my Green Bay Packers at the 10th spot. Some people might have that being too high. Some people might have it being too low. They are down 6 spots. My Packers are 6 spots from where I had them at a couple weeks ago. I still believe in this team. I still think they are a very talented team, one of the best defenses out there. They showed them being a very good defense against the Philadelphia Eagles last week. I think that was one of the more exciting, lowest scoring games I've ever seen, because I think both games were actually playing very well in that game. But obviously the offense really has to start coming along with the Green Bay Packers. I do think the Philadelphia Eagles have a very good defense as well, so that's why I think that game was still kind of almost evenly matched. And we'll see where I have the Eagles at. We'll kind of also determine maybe why I have the Packers still at number 10 on here. But for sure, they're going to have to start putting it together. I do think it's just odd also, this entire season has been the Packers, a trap game, or like this week, Jameis Winston's going to come in. They're not going to have any video footage of Jameis playing for the Giants, what he's going to do. Just weird circumstances going against teams. I mean, Flacco coming all of a sudden back over to the Bengals after they just played him against the Browns. Things like that there all year long. But I think that you can't make excuses. You have to play great. You have to play your best. You have to beat bad teams. You have to beat good teams. You have to beat great teams in order to be a great team. And so far, I need to see that out of the Packers for them to go up any higher in this. A team maybe kind of in that same boat there is the Buffalo Bills. Don't know exactly where they are at with their defense, but they're still able to normally. I mean, they didn't do it against the Dolphins. The Dolphins don't have a great defense. Normally, they're able to score with people at least. So that's the more concerning thing, I guess, for me. They dropped down 1 spot for me at the 9th spot. The Indianapolis Colts, I know they won last week. The week before that, though, they didn't. And Danny Dimes has been turning the ball over a ton lately, like he was with the Giants. Basically, the reason why the Giants got rid of him. That's more so the worry. I don't think this is so much of a worry of them like making the playoffs, possibly even having a playoff win, that kind of thing there. But we start getting into this area of the season, looking at our rankings. It's maybe not just anymore about the regular season, but who would you think are going to win some of these games that they went up against each other going into the playoffs? I put the Colts there specifically in this spot at number 8, 1 spot ahead of the Bills and 1 spot behind the Chiefs, because I kind of put them right there. I don't know if they're they could win against either one of those teams. They could lose against either one of those teams as well. I think that there's a pretty good matchup right in there. So like I said, so the Colts at 8 spot, they're down 2. The number 7 spot, as I alluded to, the Chiefs, they're down 4 spots. It's mainly about championship pedigree with them and who they have at quarterback and coach with that team. I think their defense is underrated as well. So they don't have much time to put the stuff together. I still think those type of teams, they get into the playoffs. It's like the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Lakers or something like that there, like the Celtics. Some of these teams, basically any LeBron team he's ever been on, any Steph team, those type of teams where you're like, oh no, they're the 8th seed or something like that, but they're in the playoffs. Like, I don't want to play them. That would be the Chiefs, obviously, if they get into the playoffs. That's why I still have the Chiefs there at the number 7 spot. A surprising one for me, I think this is more indicative on the top tier teams in the NFL. I just brought it up. I mean, the Chiefs have been losing. The Colts lost 2 weeks ago. They're turning the ball over a ton. The Bills just lost to the Dolphins. The Packers just had a loss, and then they lost to the Panthers a few weeks ago. Like, you know, the Bucks have been losing. The 49ers just lost. Like, so many of these top tier teams, it's hard for me to really say who's separating there at the top, that it's kind of leaving this void where I'm not seeing who's separating from the rest of the pack at the top. So it's kind of creating this bundle up, this log jam there at the top, where maybe in other years they're middle tier teams or something like that, and then there's other teams at the top that are separating themselves. So I say that because the Chargers, I mean, they got back one of their offensive linemen. They looked a whole lot better. He goes down again, but I do think their defense is a very good defense. I think their defense is super underrated, especially since they got Khalil Mack back. Justin Herbert is a very good quarterback, if not a great quarterback, if he has the time, like most quarterbacks are. You know, I think they do have good weapons there in LA. So, you know, I got the Chargers as a big move up. They went up 7 spots for me to the number 6 spot. And I think they can be, you know, real trouble in the playoffs. And my number 1 team from all the AFC, and they're all the way back to the number 5 spot, would be the New England Patriots. Guys, I've been saying it all year long as well with this team. I just thought it would maybe take longer, and I didn't think they would maybe get to be this good, right? But I was saying that, you know, look out for Drake May. This is going to be, you know, year 1.5, not a full second year with him, but his rookie year. I think he's in that awesome, you know, sweet spot where teams didn't maybe have so much of the video on him because he didn't play a full year last year, but he got a year of like learning the system and everything like that underneath his belt. He got a whole lot better of a coach coming into their team. They spent the most money in free agency out of any team in the NFL. They got him weapons. They built up their defense a whole lot. I thought it would take longer for their team to gel, coming together as far as being a new coaching staff, as far as being all these new players, as far as being the second year, you know, 1.5 year quarterback. But Drake May is playing better than I even thought. I think their team has come together. I think their coaching staff has done a fantastic job. I also think the AFC East there is not very good. I mean, you know, we got the Dolphins way down there. The Jets have just traded away a bunch of their guys. Obviously, the Bills are good, right? But I think they're going to be able to beat up on a lot of these teams going forward the rest of this year. I think their schedule was, you know, a weaker schedule for sure based off of last year, which always happens. So I think they're going to be able to ride that into possibly being the number 1 seed in the AFC, and they're looking very good going forward here. Now we get to my top 4 spots, and obviously, like I just said, that was my number 1 AFC team. My top 4 spots are all NFC teams. So going to be a tough year to go through the NFC playoffs for this year, for sure. This was kind of tough for me. All 4 of these teams could have possibly been at my number 1 spot. I don't think there's a whole lot separating any of these teams here. Number 4, the Seattle Seahawks. I got them. They went up 1 spot from a couple weeks ago. I do think they're a very good, solid team. I think they've also been, again, also taking advantage of one of the weaker schedules in the NFL. If you really look at it, as far as like seeing who they've beaten, they haven't really beaten that great of teams yet. I mean, they're possibly their biggest challenges were losing to San Francisco and losing to Tampa Bay, both at home, right? So, you know, that's not great for you. But besides those, they've been beating all the teams that have been coming in front of them so far. So, going to be a real good test for them and what we're going to see for the NFC. This last half of the season here going forward. Speaking of another NFC West team, we have the LA Rams. Again, I could have put them first, second, or third as well. The Rams kind of remind me a little bit of the Seahawks as far as like who are they beating, who are they playing, where are they playing them, you know, when do they get to play that team as far as like who's out and stuff like that there for the Rams. But the Rams are looking very good as well. My biggest thing about the Rams, not ranking them very high early on in the season, was all the news. Matthew Stafford was not, you know, out there practicing. He had a back injury, and it was more so just worrying that, you know, he wasn't going to be there throughout the year. Then Puka goes down, he gets hurt, and all of a sudden Matthew's back, and your number one wide receiver is hurt. Now, granted, they have two number ones. Devontae's still looking awesome, so I think that, along with a very good defense they have there in LA as well. I mean, they're a very solid team. I mean, they, again, like I said, they could be number 1 or 2 as well. Number 2, this again kind of maybe goes to why I had the Packers at number 10. Number 2, I have the Eagles. Somehow, again, kind of like the Chiefs, they're a team that knows how to win games. Their offense is still not looking fantastic. They have some games where they're scoring 30, 40 points. Other games where they're scoring 10. They're able to win all those games. Their defense is looking very good, though. And, if they could figure out the thing with A.J. Brown, maybe they score 17, 20, 23 points. Like, maybe they score a little bit more than what they're doing right now and make it look like it's easier games, easier victories than what they have going on right now. So I don't even think they're necessarily playing their best, and they're still winning games and still, leading the division, all that kind of stuff there. So I have the Eagles at number 2. That actually didn't move anywhere from a couple weeks ago. And, could have moved this team down. They did have a loss, although it was against the Vikings, an interdivision team. That's used to playing those games. They're always tough. It wasn't like a blowout or anything like that. There was a tight game. It was on the road. All those things that go along with it. But I have the Detroit Lions at number 1. I still think, the Lions have that offense that can hang in there with, say, the Cowboys, with any offensive team in the NFL, but a way better defense than the Cowboys have. Right? So, going forward, they're able to win a game defensively. They're able to win a game offensively as well against quite possibly any team in the NFL. So if their offense is cooking and their defense is cooking, look out. I mean, essentially, the only time that both their offense and their defenses both look bad in the same game was against the Green Bay Packers, and that was all the way back in week 1. So, I think unless they drastically start scoring less than, 35 plus, 40 points a game, that kind of thing there, or their defense starts giving up, 25, 30 points a game as well, they're going to be a real solid, tough team to beat going into the playoffs for any team, all right, NFC or AFC going forward here. So look out for those teams there. Again, kind of hate to say it as well. I kind of, gave some praise to the Bears and Lions in one video. Even the Vikings, talking about how they could even make it in the playoffs as well. So NFC North, tough division. NFC West, definitely a tough division as well there. We got some good football going on this weekend and going forward. I really think for the most part in the NFL, and this is, I'm sure they're looking at this and trying to make this happen. I think we've had a lot of the good versus bad teams, games throughout most of the season. I think you're going to see a lot of the good versus good, great versus great games going on here this last half of the season. That's really going to start telling the story of what we're going to expect to see for the rest of this year and in the playoffs. So it's going to be an exciting time going down the stretch here for the NFL. All right. Well, hopefully you guys liked the video here today. Hopefully you guys are having a great week and are going to have a great weekend as well. This is Mr. Sound Off. This has been my week 11 power rankings for you guys. Come back, watch my weekly picks with the pick'em lines, over unders, everything like that there for you bettors out there for the weekend as well. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you, everyone.